Pam.
Well, kia ora, can you all see the screen? I'm not very good technically, but has a screen come up there? Great. No mai piki mai haere mai. Welcome everybody. I feel quite privileged and blessed to be able to be sharing a little bit about our little community today with you. And I'm just going to see if I can make these slides, oh yeah, there it is, move. But Whananaki is a little place in the northern part of New Zealand, and it's out on the coast. It's a rural coastal area. It's not a lot of people there, but it is where my mother's from, and of course her people beyond her. So it's like, I refer to it as the papakainga, like the home place, where most people return to at some point in time, whether it's just a visit. But I've returned back there to look after my mother in her latter years. And I think you can't be in a community and not somehow get involved and contribute towards its development. And so I'm just going to share a little bit about Whananaki and what's been happening over the last 5 years. And it was about 5 years ago we started a partnership with the Department of Internal Affairs, who have who support community-led development programs throughout New Zealand. But before we started that partnership, we looked at our readiness to work as a community on a vision that was going to capture what everybody wanted. And one of the cool things we did is before we even started looking at what initiatives we might do, what outcomes we wanted, we had a big community meeting to, I guess, do some visioning. What was it that we wanted to see for our community? And we did a little bit of a path planning session, trying to visualize what that might look like. And we came up with a vision statement, which is Whananaki, a culturally connected, caring community. Now, I know that's only a few words, culturally connected, caring community, but in all that we do, especially since we confirmed that vision, it's kind of like we measure ourselves against that. Everything we do, we go back to that and say, well, hang on, how's that contributing to being culturally connected and caring? And further to that too, we then set a mission. So that was our big vision, and our mission, like, what are we actually going to be actively engaged in? And we come up with this mission, Te Hoi o Te Waka, which is basically about all the paddles in the waka, in the canoe, that we're going to be working together to move it forward swiftly in the right direction, right? So you can move forward swiftly, but not necessarily in the right direction that the community all wants to go to. So I think these have been key for us, is to be clear about the vision, first of all, what we all want, and then how's that going to be? And we knew that, okay, if we can all get in sync together, all paddle together and in the right direction, we're going to see some awesome change. And I think we have been, oh gee, there we go. It's so hard to move the slides up. So just a bit more about the community. So you can see in the background, we live on a beautiful coastal area. And but that area has kind of got a little divide between it. So as you come into the valley, there's some farmland, and that's all kind of it's communally owned, you know. It's not in single ownership, it's in whānau ownership, the land, and that's kind of like the Māori end of Whananaki. So they call it Wairahi, the valley, and everybody in Wairahi is related, and they're all Māori. And then as you get up, closer to the beach end, which we call it the beach end, you get into an area which is non-Māori. So there's kind of like an invisible divide that nobody really talks about, but it's there. And then you have all the lovely beach homes and all of that, and some of the more well-established whānau and big farm owners. And then you get right to the very end of Whananaki, and perhaps the best beach, which is that one there you can see on the screen. Then you get back into Māori-owned land again, and that is whānau land, that big stretch of beach, which we call Pareparea. So that's kind of how the community is. So you can kind of see why, as part of the vision, people wanted to be a more connected, a much more connected community. So we wanted to start from a strengths-based space, because everybody knew that there were some problems in our community, but we thought, let's start with what are those great things about our community. And I guess maybe it's the same for almost every community, but everybody said, right, whether you lived in the valley or down the beach end, everybody said the same thing. The core strengths and assets were the people themselves, and we were blessed to be living in this part of paradise, and it was our environment. So whether people actually lived in Whananaki or just felt a sense of connection to Whananaki, everybody shared the desire to make it a better place for the future. So, what a great starting point, to at least have those shared understandings that, in terms of that, recognizing our people are our strength and we want to look after our environment, we had a good starting point to all be in the waka together. Now that didn't, just to get to that point, can I add, to have a shared vision and the mission, that didn't happen in one meeting. That took a bit of time to get there, but it certainly has been worth that effort, and to take that time to get that right, because we did start to move. Well, some things we've moved really quickly, other things not so quickly. I'll try to get it to the next slide. Okay. So at the end of the day, everybody wanted to work towards a sustainable future for Whananaki. And we did actually identify, okay, what would that look like? What would a sustainable future look like? And we came up with some key things. Of course, as I said, one was the environment, because we live, on the coast. It's just so beautiful, and we wanted to keep it that way. But also we've got little kiwi habitats. We wanted to look after that. So there was a big emphasis on having clean water, because once upon a time our main estuary, it was pristine, but now it's it's not healthy, and we all know that. So we wanted to restore the flora and the fauna. We wanted to create food forests and have walkways, all of those things, and everybody do their little bit towards the environment. Economic development was important too, because like I said, down the Waidahi, in the valley side of things, the majority of the people are unemployed, or retired, or have to move away to find work opportunities elsewhere. So, with our economic development, we're really looking at social enterprise, ecotourism, training. Oh, why did that go backwards? Sorry, just bear with me. And then another outcome is, to be more culturally connected. So we have a marae, which is a traditional gathering place for Māori and community. But what I was amazed at is that since being involved in this journey, I've met many people who have never been to the marae in all their years living in Whananaki. And I couldn't get over that, because I just assumed that everybody at some point in time comes to the marae. But it was that invisible divide, you see. But we've had many people visit the marae now and say, oh, wow, I didn't realize that I could have come. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful to just be able to come along to the marae and know that I can be a part of it, that I don't, you know, if I'm from Whananaki, I can come to the marae. I can be a real part of this marae and the development that's going on. So that's been huge. And as the marae is under a whole transformation project too. You can see in that picture there, that's the beginning of I guess the refresh of the marae. And we're trying to involve all of the community in that, to have wānanga, opportunities to learn together, to learn the language, to learn the cultural practices. And that's going to take time because I think when there's the unknown, some people are very uncomfortable with that. So it's about helping people to make that connectedness. And those that have said that it's actually changed their lives, because they now have like a better insight into what a marae represents, what tikanga is all about, and they feel a sense of being a part of something greater than the whole. And so those are the intangible outcomes. So I'll talk about some of the tangibles that we've achieved, but I think equally important are the intangibles. When people who have lived their whole life in this community say that they now feel connected to something greater than themselves, through understanding how they can be a part of the marae. So that's been a big thing, cultural connectedness. Oops. Oh, sorry, it just, for some reason, this is the other one, of course, is about social outcomes. So, we tried to find some land where we could have a community hub, because people felt, wouldn't it be great to have a meeting space that could be simply for just meeting, for having information. People could come and have information. It could perhaps sell some of the local wares. It could perhaps be like a gallery, because there's many artists in the area where we could highlight the creativity and the works of artists. And so people thought a community hub would be the ideal. Now, what was interesting is, we asked, was there council land we could perhaps use for that, but there was nowhere suitable in the little pockets of council land that were available. So we put it out to all of the community. Okay, we want a community hub, but where are we going to put this? And the good old marae said, okay, look, this is the marae part, but we're happy for all this other area to be used for the community hub. So where we're at right now is we're getting ready to present our plans to council so that we can get consent to build our community hub. So those were the big outcomes that the community had said that they wanted to achieve. So I just want to briefly now talk about what are some of the specific community-led development initiatives that we've been involved in as a community. So Flora and Fauna is a big one. And we did things like, we've established like a Kiwi zone, and people are learning how to do the count for Kiwi calls, and just raising awareness of the importance of, not having dogs roaming up in these areas because they kill off our Kiwi and that. So having days to train up people with dogs, free sessions to train the dog owners, and encouraging more people to be actively involved in, looking after our Kiwi, clearing our native bush. We've done a lot of weed eradication, and we're going to continue doing that. Predator control, getting more and more people involved in predator control, and starting on making a start on the waterway. So you'll see that picture there. We have regular planting days where we just get community to come and help. Sometimes we have hardly anyone, and other times we've got lots of people in that. So we just keep plodding along. You know, it doesn't matter if there's only one or two that come along. It's just about doing it and continuing to do that. And sooner or later it catches on. Oh, I went backwards, sorry. This one here is around youth social enterprise, which has been really exciting because you know, it's about the young people, and we've only got one school in the community for primary and intermediate children, and we're working with the school around local social enterprise. So after school finishes, we have these sessions where we talk about social enterprise and what that can mean for the young ones. So they've been learning about, you know, how to test your product, how to do market research. And now we're at the stage, after they've tested all their ideas, they've decided what they're going to do is they're going to have, because they arrived at, we want to have a product that is natural and that we can say it comes from Whananaki. And then they decided, well, given that we're working on, you know, planting and growing rongoa, like plants with medicinal properties, they decided they would make rongoa type products like balms using the native plants, making bath bombs from the native plants, and that kind of range of products. So it's a work in progress. They've been testing their products, and they all try selling them in different ways, and now they're preparing to do online, set up and learn how to do what is it? I can't remember the name, but like where you sell everything online, you set it up online. So we've found people to come in and teach them those skills, and it's probably one of the most popular things is with these young ones, and especially, okay, they haven't made any money yet, but the thing is they can see how they can and how their money is going to come back to make an impact in the community. And what the kind of impact they want to make is where people are using natural products. They're going to be able to plant out, that everybody in the community will start planting some of their own rongoa and look after the environment. So the money will go back to support the local environment initiatives. And they're pretty excited about that. Still got a fair ways to go, but their products actually are quite good. And they've been every time there's like a kind of a market day, or there's some kind of function in the community, out comes their little stall and they're selling things, or they're going around, you know how you go around with a tray on you selling popcorn, while they go around selling their products. And it's quite cool to have the young ones engaged in that. Oh, sorry, it's going the wrong way. Another initiative, which is it's getting there, because some go forward really quickly and others just don't go straight forward, and that's about community-led development. You've got to go at the pace of the community. They wanted to do this, but it is taking forever, and we're learning that some things, well, you know, you just have to be patient, and all the ducks have to line up before it's going to get moving. But this initiative is really about, so we have PO, I'm not sure if you can see that clearly, but like their symbols in the community, which which tell a story. They're placed there as kind of like a big signpost, and the carving depicts a story about the community with a key message. So, but these ones that we're going to work on, they're working on a prototype right now, and it will have a digital story connected. So it's going to have a scan code. So if you go up to it, you just scan it, and then you can listen to the story. And it will also have on it a they're going to use, what do you call it, solar. They'll have these solar panels attached to it, like it'll be like a wingspan. And that, what happens with that is it lights up at night. So there'll be like kind of these this flight path, because we have like a guardian bird called the Takahiwai, and eventually they're going to put these po in key places which will form the flight path of the Takahiwai, and you'll see those it light up at night. That's the idea. It will light up at night and show the pathway, the flight pathway. So when it gets going, it's going to be really cool. But right now, it's at that stage where the first po, the big pole, has gone into the shed, and the equipment's been purchased. We've got the carvers ready to start on it, and they're excited that they've got to that point, and they've got the kaumata, or the elders, working on the storyline. So long way to go, but they've started that. So that's one of the initiatives, because it is a community full of artists. The native nursery. So it seemed natural that if we're focusing on the, biodiversity, protecting the environment, then it makes sense to start planting out the waterways, and as we remove the weeds and that, well, then we want to replace them with natives. So we thought, okay, why don't we just start up our own little native nursery? And we've been going around to successful places around, around the north, just doing a visit to see what others do and what they've learned to do and not do before we get started on our little venture. So we're now at that stage where we've identified the land where we're going to put the native nursery and where our priorities are. And this leads me into talking about partnerships. So while we're going to have a little native nursery, right, we're starting small, but we're thinking big, that eventually, lots of parts of Whananaki will be planted out with natives. So in order to do some of these, achieve some of these lofty aspirations, you have to partner with others. And our first partnership was with the Department of Internal Affairs, Community-Led Development, and I must say it's been a wonderful partnership. But we had to extend those partnerships. And for the native nursery, DOC, the Department of Conservation, they're natural partners when you're looking at flora and fauna. So we partnered with them, and we were successful in getting 3 full-time jobs for 3 years to work specifically on this initiative. So, that's one partnership there. We're going to partner with another group to also help us with that. And I think we're more likely to succeed when we put these partnerships in place. It is quite a job to navigate the relationships with all the partnerships, because some want something specific, others want something else. And how do we do that so that it all works towards the common goal, eh? And that's where coordinators come in. And we're fortunate, we've got a team of 3 of us who work together, and we put a lot of effort into trying to have relationships that are enhancing, so that we can all work together in true partnership. And I think we're off to a good start. The last one initiative I want to talk about, what I briefly touched on, was the hub. And this has not gone smoothly. either. It's taken us 2 years to agree on the design. two long years. But I think it's been worth the wait, because finally everybody agreed what that design should be, you know, and you start off with huge ideas, and then when we got the price tag, we thought, oh, okay, let's cut that back a little bit. And as we trim back what that would be, we decided, let's do this in stages. Let's start with what might be achievable. And so they decided on, okay, we need an open space, multi-purpose. This is what we all arrived at after 2 years, that it's an open space, multi-purpose gathering place that can be used for a number of things, which might be a gallery setup, a workshop, a meeting space, a space to run activities, and see that green space out the front, that in summer we can have outdoor music events, all sorts of different types of events that the community might be interested in. Plus it will have a little like kiosk type thing. It will have toilets, and it will have a little kiosk where people want to sell some local things, because in summertime the community triples with people coming out to the coast, you know, all the tourists and holiday makers and that. So they saw that, oh, here's an opportunity that, you know, the locals can generate a little bit of income, and especially our young people with their social enterprise will have a base for their products. So yeah, where we're at right now is we're a month away from submitting for the plans to get consent to build. And then I suppose the next difficult phase starts, which is to find the money to build. But see, this is where relationships and partnerships become so important, because then you start going to all these people you have relationships with and say, how might you contribute to this awesome outcome? Because it's not just a building. This is much more than a building. This is about bringing our vision to fruition. This is the meeting place where we all connect as a community, and not only as a community, but anyone who comes into Whananaki. Here's the place. You want to connect? Come here. You'll find out a little bit more about what Whananaki's all about, you know, and then we direct them to the po, the walkways, and all these other cool things. We tell them the stories of what we're doing, because with the young people with social enterprise, they're learning the art of storytelling, how to do digital storytelling and that. And so, you know, they're going to learn the power of social media and sharing their stories. And we're at the stage where we can literally feel that we're moving towards the vision. We can finally feel that we're getting in rhythm, right? Because if I just use that walker paddling in the right direction, I think when we started, we were paddling in different directions, and we were going around. Our poor old little walker was going around in circles. And then the rhythm, you know, I talked about the rhythm. I wish I understood the power of the rhythm of a community. Every community's got a rhythm. And when you find that rhythm, that's when that walker starts to move forward, you know. And we've found the rhythm. We found the rhythm, and we're starting to, and it may be, you know, it may be slow to some, but we are now, we've got that rhythm going. We're getting our paddles in sync and starting to move forward. And 5 years might seem like a long time to some, to just finally get a good rhythm going. But, you know, my mother tells me, like, my mother's 86, and she says that for the first time in her life, she can see that rhythm. Like she said, there's always been a rhythm in the valley, right? And she says, but in all of Whananaki, that rhythm has not been there. She's seeing it for the first time, and it just warms her heart and the other kaumātua too. And we're doing, and so all of the older people in Whananaki, we're training up the tautamariki, the children, our youth, to be able to collect their stories. What are the lessons that they can teach this young generation? And, you know, slowly but surely, we're tapping into the rhythm of the community. And so, you know, that's what I said. There are many tangibles, but there's also the intangibles. And this is just the last slide. I'm kind of pleased to say the paddles are moving together in rhythm, not swiftly, but in the right direction. And that, so yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions, and I hope you've learned a little bit about our little piece of paradise in the world called Whananaki. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Whai Pam. That's just beautiful. So many gems in there, and that that sense of rhythm, not necessarily all being on the same waka, but having your paddles in the right direction. You can be on different waka, but going in the right direction and connecting those rhythms. Beautiful metaphor, I thought. What are other people thinking? Any thoughts or questions for Pam? And welcome to Fiona and Jenny, who joined us somewhere in the middle there as well. Kia ora.